I'm Bob Proctor, and I'm telling you the reason you're not earning in 30 days what takes a whole year isn't some external force. It's that inner picture you hold of yourself. Absurd, right? How can your self-image dictate your income? But that's where the magic happens. It explains why folks grind tirelessly, study relentlessly, yet end up back where they started. Ever felt that? I'm about to share the method I used, the one that revolutionized lives, to break free. I used to view $1 million as some unreachable fantasy, so distant I couldn't fathom possessing it. $1 million was this mythical amount, utterly unobtainable. You know what's funny? The amount itself never altered. It remained $1 million. What transformed was my perspective. $1 million isn't inherently much or little. It simply exists. It's all about how you perceive it. Many of us, maybe even you, grew up hearing phrases such as, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "Only the already wealthy get richer," and if it were easy, everyone would do it. Unknowingly, these notions shape a scarcity mindset within us, putting us in the role of someone who'll never achieve, someone who must settle for less. Then, no matter how hard you push, how many extra hours you work, or how many courses you invest in, you always end up back at square one. Sound familiar? You work the whole month, your salary arrives, you pay bills, and it vanishes. So, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as someone who receives, or someone who struggles to deserve? Do you see yourself as prosperous, or as just surviving? Because it all starts there. Money responds to frequency, and that frequency is determined by your feelings and self-image. Repeating affirmations is useless if your inner vision still says, "This isn't for me." I lived that. I was that person. I grew up in scarcity, carrying those same beliefs into adulthood. Until someone told me, "Bob, you don't need more effort. You need a new self-image." I didn't fully grasp it then, but I decided to try it, and everything started to change. Here's what I discovered. The subconscious rejects nothing. It accepts everything you feed it repeatedly with emotion. That's where the secret lies. If you aspire to earn in 30 days what usually takes a year, start right now envisioning and feeling yourself as someone who already lives that reality. Because what you feel, you attract, and what you consistently visualize, the universe precisely manifests. You might think, "But Bob, how can I envision prosperity when the bills are overdue and the fridge is nearly empty?" That's the common objection, and it's the biggest hurdle. You're conditioning your inner image to what you see externally. But it's the reverse. What you see externally is the result of the inner image you've held until now. Change begins silently, within you. You must train yourself daily to think, speak, feel, and act as if you're already on that new level. Visualize closing that deal. Imagine receiving the call announcing your promotion. Feel the peace of paying bills early. Imagine the excitement of buying something without worrying about the cost. See your family celebrating with you. Live it internally, as if it's happening now. I remember a time when I was completely broke, literally. In debt, directionless, living on borrowed time. Yet every day, I'd close my eyes and see myself on a stage, with a microphone, speaking to hundreds, teaching everything I knew about success. It seemed crazy then, but inside it felt real. I started acting as if it were about to happen. I read books, studied obsessively, practiced. One day someone invited me to speak to a small group, then another. Later, I was standing before thousands. It all began with the image I chose to maintain, even when the world said it was impossible. That's why I emphasize this so much. The image you hold with faith and feeling shapes what you attract. Thinking scarcity, feeling fear, acting with hesitation will attract more of that. But thinking big, feeling gratitude as if you've already received, and acting with confidence, the universe responds. Always. You don't need more luck or an external push. You just need a definite internal decision. So here's what I invite you to do. For the next 30 days, every morning before anything else, close your eyes and repeat this phrase with emotion. I am so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantities through multiple sources, continuously. Don't just say it. Feel it. See it. Believe it. Feel the money arriving. Visualize the outcomes. Imagine the transformation unfolding. Science has demonstrated that the brain doesn't distinguish between reality and imagination when emotionally engaged. So use that to your advantage. Train your mind to receive, to believe, to allow. Regardless of your current situation, no matter what the bills, bank balance, or statistics say, you can change it all. The transformation begins with what you see when you close your eyes. Once you change that, you will realize 1 month is more than sufficient to experience what previously took an entire year. If someone tries to transform their life purely through willpower, without altering their self-image, they might see temporary progress, but inevitably, they revert to square one. It's like an elastic band. You stretch it, make some headway, but without severing what holds you back, it snaps back to its original state. This occurs because something far more potent than transient goals or desires exists: the self-image ingrained in your subconscious. You might not realize it, but everything you do, from your attire to what you believe you're capable of achieving, is dictated by your inner perception. Most people carry a meager, limited, distorted self-image from childhood. Consider this. How often have you witnessed someone start a diet, enthusiastic and determined, shed 5–10 pounds, only to regain it all, sometimes more? Why? Simple. Because the mind still perceives itself as overweight. It still carries the old identity. That identity, that inner self, prevents the new body from remaining. The mind screams, "This isn't who I am." Unknowingly, the person reverts to eating, sabotages results, abandons healthy habits, all to maintain coherence with their self-image. The same applies to money. How often does someone receive an unexpected sum, an inheritance, bonus, prize, only to be financially worse off than before shortly after? The issue was never the money, it was the mind not seeing itself as deserving. Like an internal thermostat that regulates temperature to a pre-programmed level, the self-image acts as a boundary. It adjusts everything to the old standard. Want a more concrete example? Think of a struggling student. Their grades are poor, parents pressure them, they're made to study, they improve briefly, but then everything reverts. Why? Because no one changed how they see themselves. They still believe they're a weak student, that they don't understand, that they can't succeed. Their body, actions, results, all respond to what they believe themselves to be. When I grasped this, a new universe unfolded. I realized self-image isn't an opinion, it's a program, a set of beliefs deeply ingrained in the subconscious. Like any program, it can be rewritten. Pause now and reflect. Have you been battling habits, procrastination, scarcity, lack of focus? Do you scold yourself for not maintaining momentum, believing you lack discipline? What if I told you the problem isn't your actions, but the identity governing them? Your self-image shapes your routine, determining whom you associate with, how much you charge for your work, what opportunities you see or ignore. What's most frightening? This image formed long ago, when you were a child, shaped by criticisms, comparisons, limitations from adults around you. People unaware of the harm they were causing, but leaving deep marks on how you see yourself today. No one ever taught you that you could change it. Schools teach math, geography, history, but not how to build a healthy self-image, that you can be the architect of your mind. That's what I learned. Late, but I learned. Until 26, I was a walking failure, broken, insecure, lacking confidence. Gradually, I began to study, delve deeper, understanding. What held me captive wasn't the world, nor lack of opportunities. It was the image I harbored of myself. That's where everything began to shift. I stopped battling the effects and started addressing the cause. It's not about repeating empty affirmations. It's about building, day after day, a new image, seeing yourself as capable, imagining yourself succeeding, feeling deserving, confident, worthy. This process generates true transformation. No magic or mysticism. Science knows this. According to neuroplasticity studies by Harvard University, the brain is malleable, creating new synaptic connections based on consistent emotional repetition. By sustaining a new self-image, with genuine emotional involvement, you literally begin altering your brain's physical structure, starting to become what you believe yourself to be. That's why, even without fully understanding the process, I persisted. I wrote, repeated, visualized, imagining daily the version of myself I wanted to manifest. By doing so, I began acting like that version, making different decisions, approaching different people, accepting opportunities I'd previously blocked. The result? The world began to respond. Doors opened. Doors. Money flowed. People looked at me differently, but really I saw myself differently. Looking back, I realize I didn't need to change who I was. I only needed to abandon who I believed myself to be. So, I ask you now, sincerely, who do you believe you are? What do you believe you deserve? How long will you keep trying to change your life without changing the image you carry within? Do you desire a new result? Then create a new identity, not tomorrow, not when you have time, but now. Doing this intensely, truthfully for 30 consecutive days, you'll see results that shock you, because the external world is merely a reflection of what you believe internally. The most powerful part of your mind isn't the one that thinks, it's the one that feels. That's why the vast majority of people spend their entire lives trying to solve problems with logic, with conscious effort, but remain stagnant, because they don't understand that the true command lies on an emotional, not rational level. The subconscious has no judgment capacity. It doesn't know what's real or imagined. Everything you feel intensely, it accepts as truth. Moreover, it transforms that into behavior, vibration, result. So when you imagine something with detail and emotion, even if it doesn't yet exist in the physical world, your body, your energy, and the universe around you respond as if it were true. That's why when you feel fear thinking about a future problem, your body reacts with sweat, tension, accelerated heartbeat, as if you're actually living it. If it works for fear, it also works for prosperity, success, abundance. But here's the critical point. Most people only nurture negative images. They wake up already worried about what could go wrong, about bills, about the possibility of failure. Unknowingly, they're constantly giving commands to their subconscious. I'm scarce and I'm in danger. I don't have enough. The subconscious obediently responds, shaping behavior, decisions, and emerging opportunities to confirm that internal image. Have you noticed that some people always seem to be in the right place at the right time? They close deals easily, attract good relationships, seem lucky. Others, however hard they try, keep repeating the same patterns of loss, delay, sabotage. That's not chance. That's frequency. Everything, absolutely everything in the universe works by vibration. Science has shown that we are walking electromagnetic fields. Thought generates a frequency, but feeling impresses force onto that frequency. Feeling is thought in motion. That's why imagination is the most powerful tool you possess. With it, you can construct reality before it exists. You can visit the future, experience success, live the sensation of achievement, even before it manifests. By doing this consistently, you instruct the subconscious to accept that new reality as natural. But caution, cold visualization is useless. You must engage, feel. Emotion is the signal, the seal that tells the subconscious, this is real to me. Repeating a mental image associated with genuine emotion for 30 days changes your being's frequency. You start vibrating on a different level. When that happens, people, situations, and opportunities that are on the same level start connecting with you. It can't be otherwise. I've experienced this many times. At one point in my life, I started imagining every day that my business was growing globally. I'd close my eyes and see people listening to me in different countries, translating my teachings, applying the ideas I shared. It was a fantasy at that moment, but I felt it so truthfully that my energy changed. Soon invitations started appearing, spontaneous translations of my videos, invitations from places I never imagined would hear my voice. That's when I understood viscerally that you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. If you still doubt, consider. How many brilliant ideas have you had and not executed? How many times did you know what needed to be done but didn't do it? That's not lack of knowledge. It's identity conflict. It's the old self trying to preserve what it knows while the new self tries to emerge. Transformation only happens when you firmly sustain the image of the new self and feel as if it's already true. You don't need to know every step. The path doesn't reveal itself all at once. When you change frequency, the next step appears. It always appears. If you live in scarcity today, it's because a corresponding vibration is being emitted. That vibration comes from the image you sustain, the emotion you nurture. But it's not permanent. It can be exchanged, replaced, reprogrammed, not by magic, but by decision and repetition. So, start now. Close your eyes and see yourself in your best version. Imagine your bank account positive, your family at peace, your schedule full of opportunities, your energy light. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the security. Repeat this process every day with faith, even if it seems strange at first. For 30 days, keep this image alive inside you. Reinforce with words, with consistent actions, with full attention, because the moment your vibration changes, everything changes. People perceive you differently. You walk differently, speak differently, decide differently. The world responds. The world always responds to what you emanate, and the frequency you emanate is determined by the image you maintain. Change the image, change the frequency. The entire universe reorganizes to accompany you. The truth is that change isn't slow. It happens the instant you decide with conviction to become someone different. What's slow, what wears us down and makes us doubt, is resistance. That resistance stems from an old program inside you that wants to keep you exactly where you are, even if where you are is painful, limited, frustrating. See, humans are driven by coherence. The mind, when confronted with a new image that contradicts what it carries as identity, reacts with discomfort. It's as if it screams, "This isn't me." That's when doubts, fear, sabotage arise, not because you're incapable, but because the old self feels threatened. Maybe you've experienced this. You started a new project full of enthusiasm, saw initial progress, but something inside you started whispering thoughts like, "Am I good enough? This won't last." I always find a way to mess things up. Before you realize it, you're backing off, postponing, abandoning what you started. That something inside you is the old program trying to pull you back to the familiar, to the comfortable, even if that comfortable is miserable. I recall a woman who attended one of my events. She had built a small confectionery business with great effort and was finally about to close a deal with a chain of coffee shops. It was her chance to expand. But on the day of the decisive meeting, she didn't go. She simply didn't show up. When asked why, she said, "I thought they'd realize I wasn't good enough." That's the kind of silent tragedy that happens to thousands of people every day. Brilliant people, full of potential, who destroy their own chances because the image they carry of themselves doesn't allow them to advance. They don't feel deserving. That feeling of unworthiness is one of the greatest mental poisons that exist. It's invisible but paralyzing. It disguises itself as humility, caution, prudence. But deep down, it's disguised fear. Think about it. How many opportunities have you already refused, avoided, or not even noticed? Because deep down you thought, that wasn't for you. How many times have you sabotaged yourself for thinking it would be too much to earn so much, have so much, live so much? Mike Tyson is a painful example of this. He was trained by a brilliant mentor, Cus D'Amato, who not only honed his talent as a boxer, but also tried to rebuild his identity. For a while, Mike believed he was invincible, focused, disciplined. He shone. But when Cus passed away, the old Tyson reappeared, insecure, uncontrolled, impulsive. The image that still lived inside him, the one formed in childhood, amid violence and abandonment, took over. He couldn't sustain the new self. His career and his life collapsed. This shows that without the reconstruction of the self-image, all change will be temporary. You can learn techniques, earn money, conquer a position. But if inside you still see yourself as someone limited, disorganized, unworthy, you will in some way make everything fall apart. Because the mind demands coherence. Here's the turning point. You are not your story. You are not what they said about you. You are not the mistakes you made. You are what you decide to be from now on. You can create, sustain, and strengthen a new image. You need to understand that the old you will fight. It will resist, it will make noise. It will say you're getting too big for your boots. It will say you're going too fast. It will say it's better not to create expectations. You need to be prepared to ignore that voice, not fight it, but silence it through action. Because every small victory you achieve reinforces the new you. Every bold decision you make, even with fear, weakens the old program. Don't wait to feel ready. Readiness doesn't come first. It's a consequence of the decision. You decide, you act. The feeling of deserving comes later. If you want a starting point, do this. Write, with details, how your ideal version lives. Where they live, how much they earn, how they wake up, who they interact with, how they dress, how they speak. Every day in the morning, read this text aloud. Not just read, feel. Feel as if it's already real. Because to the subconscious, if you feel it, it is. When you repeat this with force, with consistency, you'll start to notice a subtle change. Decisions will become clearer. Opportunities will appear. The right people will emerge. The universe responds to the frequency you sustain. The most beautiful thing is that when this transformation truly begins, you look back and ask yourself, why did I wait so long to allow myself to be who I really am? True change isn't slow, it's instantaneous. Resistance makes you believe otherwise. Now you know the truth. It all begins with how you see yourself. That's the foundation of everything. What you think, feel, attract, and accomplish is directly linked to the image you sustain of yourself. Change that image, and you change your life. Now that you grasp this, you're ready to take the next step. The video appearing on your screen will help you climb another step in your wisdom evolution, making you 1% better than you are now. Thank you for being here with me. I'll be waiting for you in the next video.